Okay, we are back on the record. First things first, I need appearances by the attorneys.
Good morning, Your Honor. Christina Kerrigan, bar number 9082 of Marathon Law Group, on behalf of Joseph Moss, who is also present.
Welcome. Ms. Ray?
Yes, good morning. Julie Ray, bar number 10967, on behalf of the Grace Law Firm representing Leah Bourne. In this case, she's present.
Welcome. Sit down. Now, I want the parties to stand because we're going to go ahead and put y'all under oath.
You and each of you do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we were looking in the evidence while we were off the record. They said it's Exhibit 26. I do not have an Exhibit 26, but it's JM0299. Is this the page that you were talking about, sir?
This section.
Yes, ma'am.
It is. That's not a good enough, you're not asking her, okay, are these therapists good? And you did not give her an opportunity to approve of the therapist.
Well, in this,
You did not give...
this one, she is telling me the child needs therapy. This is not,
let me see, number 4. Ethan is going to need therapy. It doesn't mean, or counseling. It doesn't mean he needs it now. But the problem with this is she still has a right to jointly choose a therapist. Therefore, I am going to deny the therapist's testimony.
Your Honor, can I be heard for the record on that?
Yes, you may be heard on the record.
Okay. Your Honor, there has been no objection to the therapist prior to today. I think it would have been appropriate to file a written objection. They certainly filed a late objection to something else last night. No objections. We promptly notified them that the therapist was planning to testify. And I would also like to note for the record that the extreme difficulties in co-parenting suggest that they would not have been able to agree on a therapist. She had many, many opportunities, and we can go through the Our Family Wizard record. There is not one time that she objects to Ethan being in counseling or asks any questions about counseling. And when my client mentions to her, the counselor would like to have you involved, can you please participate? There is no response. So I think it is very disingenuous for her to claim that she didn't agree to this when she never objected to it, and they don't have the kind of communication where they could have agreed on a particular name.
What does the rule say about joint legal therapy?
I am very aware they're to make decisions together, and you will hear about several other decisions that were made over the summer without Dad's input, and they're medical decisions.
This is, what is it? Ethan started counseling this week. That was on 1/21, 7 days after Mom made that he may need counseling. Okay? At no point in there did he say, okay, I'm calling therapists. I'm checking into this. Do you still approve? Nothing in there. He just jumps in and puts him in therapy.
It was an emergency, Your Honor.
No, it's not. There is never a big enough emergency where you do not contact your joint legal custodian and say, this is what I'm looking at. Chopping a leg off is an emergency. Heart attacks are emergencies. 105 fevers is an emergency. Mom saying he may need counseling and you just jumping to do it without talking to her about it is not an emergency. However, I do want to hear what the therapist has to say. And the reason why is I want to grill her. Okay? She is this child's therapist. In other words, she knows him better than I do. And so I want to talk this. I want to ask some questions of this therapist. Okay? But keep one thing in mind. If the kid is screwed up, it's not Mom's fault. Because Dad's the one who's had him all the time. You may go ahead. Miss Ray, are you done with your opening?
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to read the energy in the room and say the court doesn't want to hear anymore, so I am going to rest with my opening.
Thank you.
I would just like to make my objection to the record. Maybe maybe I can get you to change your mind again.
I don't
You're
think so,
flip-flopping
because,
now.
I mean, your client
But-
did say he needs counseling.
Right. But let me, if I may have 1 minute, please. There's some other things I'd just like to show the court.
Keep in mind, I only asked if I could look at this one page. We're not to the point in these text messages.
It's right on point with the therapist, though.
Well, they're looking for this stuff. Mom and Dad, do we have any hope on a family therapy to try to get to a working position so that y'all can work together for the benefit of your son?
I would love that.
Dad?
I've already started. I got the therapist. I mean, I've done everything I possibly could. I followed every court order.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking, you know,
Yeah.
would you be willing to have a family therapy? There's no way for a parent, well, maybe a parenting coach and not a coordinator. Someone who's got the education in that area to help y'all start working together.
That's why I hired our therapist as a family therapist.
Well, but she's already seeing Ethan. That's not going to work. I just learned of parenting coaches.
Your Honor, I guess my concern would be that I really think that it's probably a therapeutic relationship that they need because they are
I do
both
too.
going to have to change behaviors to be able to co-parent. And while a coach can tell you what to do, if you don't know why that's so important and how it's
Oh, that's why it's
affecting
therapy. You know,
your
that's
child.
why it's a therapist who's also a coach. You know,
Right. But that's our concern is
Yeah.
that we do want her to be involved in this.
she needs to be. All right. Do we have the place here that's going to point? Because we're now an hour into this. I mean, 30 minutes of it was my fault.
I did ask the therapist to log in. I don't know if she's...
She's
oh,
up
she
here.
is. Okay, good.
She's there. Usually they're sitting here watching everything go back and forth.
I would just ask the court to, I can either paraphrase or look at JM, same exhibit, JM 0304.
Miss Kerrigan, do you have a problem with me looking?
Give me just 1 second. Which message are you looking at, Julie?
It's all of them on JM 03404, and it's, which one?
034.
JM 0304.
Okay.
I guess my objection would be we're taking some messages out of context. This is quite a bit later, so yes, I do object to that.
Of me going ahead and just looking? Because, I mean, this is, you know, I don't know how much later. I mean, is it 3 months later?
No. It's February 25th, so a couple weeks, if that. Let's see, well, I don't know when you started.
If it's
about
the 25th, 14th, so it's 11 or 31 days later. 32 days, because January has 31 days.
It's where Leah says you've been violating the order by never discussing counseling with Ethan, with me. You just went ahead and you put him in counseling, you blamed it all on me. That's the kind of stuff that she's talking about.
That sounds like an objection to me. You said there never was one. That sounds like an objection to me.
She's objecting. And then he says, you know, the reason Ethan needs this therapy is because of all the horrible things you say to Ethan about me. And then he goes on to list, your dad is a bad guy, you're gonna grow up and hate him. Your dad's brother talks funny. Your dad will never make money. The reason Ethan is in therapy is because he alleges she disparages Dad. And at one point in the deposition, well, I'll just leave that for later.
And Your Honor,
But that's why the child.
Well, here's the problem. I don't think either one of you are talking about the other parent in the proper format. You're both running each other down to this child. Both of you. Don't shake your head no.
Your Honor, you could ask the therapist why the child's in therapy, and that would really be the best answer to this question.
Well, I'm
The,
sure
the, here,
therapist will
the problem is
regurgitate
the proper
reason Dad-
procedure wasn't followed.
And Mom's objecting.
And Mom does object. The therapist should not have continued with therapy once she objected. In the state of Nevada, they're required to stop. Did you bother to call the therapist and talk to her?
No,
Why not?
he never gave me her information. He gave me her name and just started.
He
asking
gave you
me-
her name?
Yeah.
Okay, why
At what
couldn't you have
point?
Googled it?
I don't know at what point.
I mean, Rachel Barrows, how many Rachel Barrows would be in West Virginia?
I mean, I don't
or
know.
Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm determined to put it in the West.
I don't remember when he disclosed her name, but it wasn't within the time frame of him getting involved. It was just him telling me, you need to pay for half of the bills.
Your Honor, he sent her the bills, which had the therapist's name and information on them. If
No,
she
they
had-
did not.
Okay, I just saw something I probably shouldn't have looked at. I'm sorry, it caught my eye and I had to look. Dad, on 299, it's the page that we were talking about. He has called me multiple times, having to sneak away to call me while crying, 2 times unsupervised. Then why did he have to
Yes,
sneak
ma'am.
away?
This is why I filed my motion.
Then why did he have to sneak away if he was unsupervised?
I believe he had to sneak away and get his tablet to call me.
Then he wasn't unsupervised if he had to sneak away.
It was video recorded, Your Honor. I talked to him over an hour and a half while she was at work, and he was
But-
alone in the house.
Then why did he have to sneak away?
He usually has. I haven't read the message, so I'm not really sure what you're referring to.
Well, you wrote the message.
But
There were a lot of
there's a lot of
This is
messages.
the message that the judge is referring to.
I mean, look at this one thing that caught my eye.
And Your Honor, I think one of the major problems I have is that in the past, they have hand-picked select messages. And when you read, the reason we attach the whole report is because when you read the whole report, you see
I
that-
see a hate between 2 people.
Your Honor, it says clearly, he has called multiple times, having to sneak away to call me while crying, 2 times unsupervised. So I'm trying to demonstrate to her, like, throughout your visitation, he has
Okay.
to sneak away to call me because he's not allowed to call me in front of you. You don't allow it. This is what's been going on this entire summer. I haven't spoken to him in 6 days.
And then if you read down to her response, Ethan doesn't need to sneak away to call you. Last paragraph, 299. He does miss you. It saddens me that Ethan is going to need counseling. 1 minute he's crying, this is what kids do.
Yeah.
And he's not unsupervised.
He's
I mean, I
6
think we ought
or
to
is he
clear
7?
that up. Was he
Unsupervised.
left at home alone
He's
in
8
the
now.
house?
Okay.
Okay. Was your husband there? Yes.
Leah stated she put him to bed at 5 o'clock, Your Honor, on the OFW messages. He had to get his phone off the refrigerator that you order stay on him at all times.
Well, we're going to change that. We're going to change that. These controls are ridiculous.
It would be unduly prejudicial and a lot of bias to allow a therapist who's never once interviewed Mom, who's never heard her side of the story.
Well, from what I understand, there was an invitation and she refused to call.
There was not an invitation. It was an
Where
order.
in this here does it state?
Let me just.
I've asked her multiple times throughout the
Where,
month.
because you and her don't talk, so it's going to be here.
Yes,
So
ma'am. This is-
where in here does it state the therapist would like to talk to you?
But she's objecting to the therapy.
Yeah,
all
but it
along.
doesn't mean she doesn't talk to someone who is talking to her child to find out maybe this woman is good. Why would you interfere with something when you know he's probably needing it?
I interfered with it because.
No, I did not interfere. Object.
I objected to it because 4 days after my visit, after he was mad that you ordered Ethan to come out to see me for 2 weeks after he withheld me for Christmas, He went and said, you said all these horrible things about me to my son, which never happened, and put him in counseling for that as a ploy to show you that, oh, while he was with mom for those 2 weeks, this is what happened.
I tell you what, here's what I may allow. I may allow her to testify, but I'm the one who does the questioning.
Your Honor, I'm fine with that. That's not the reason that he was put into counseling, and I think that
It says it right there.
the information that the counselor has would be helpful to you.
And if that's mom's objection, then it'd been more reason for her to contact Rachel.
Mom should have contacted her to find out what she was like and become more involved.
Like, you're
I realize
assuming-
you object,
You're assuming that this
but
is
I'm
a
wanting to see if
relationship
he.
of equal
Hold on.
rights.
But I'm
This
wanting
man
to see.
has been the shot caller.
I know. Sit down. We're trying to get to the bottom of BS. Okay? Today, we're going to find out if he did in fact lie about his good faith reason to relocate, which we haven't even got there yet, and how to get it to where the two of you can parent this child. Because guess what? I do have the authority to take the child away from both of you and turn him over to a third party. Because right now, I'm not seeing either one of you being worthy of this kid.
I would ask.
Sometimes it's best not to talk. You can.
Your Honor, I was just going to say, if you want to.
Where in here does he give her the name?
Oh, the name. Okay. Sorry, I was looking for that.
He sent the bill, or at least,
Sent the
hey, I
bill.
need the money.
And let's see.
Ethan, I will be sending you half the bill. Where does he give the name?
Do you know? I believe it was in February. Let me look.
February the 5th. You know, I've been trying, okay, this is from Leah. I've been trying to call a few times. You know, she's not getting that. Mom's not getting any answers.
So on message 324 on JM0304, Ethan's therapist still wants to get involved. Why won't you get involved in Ethan's mental health? So
Where's
that's
the
one
name
message
for her to
the-
call?
The name on February 11th. Do you see where you sent? I know you sent the name. I've seen it. I'm just not. seeing
February
it.
11th?
Well, February. Is it February 11th?
This is from Leah.
Oh, okay. So February 12th, message 320 on page JM0303.
320, okay.
This is after he sent the therapy bills, and he said, I'm sure Rachel, Ethan therapist, would love for you to get involved.
Rachel, where's the last name?
It's not in this message, but can you...
It's definitely, I'm looking for it. I've sent multiple requests.
And where's the phone number?
I never sent the phone number.
Then how did you expect her to contact her? I'm not going to allow the testimony. I'm not I don't. I want to ask her some questions because she's the only professional therapist, but I want to ask questions about how both of your behavior is screwing with your child. Both of you. You're fighting to keep him from going to see his mom.
No, ma'am.
Stop.
No, ma'am.
Up until Christmas, when I made it clear the child was going, you fought tooth and nail to keep this child away from mom. Don't say no, ma'am, because I've had to sit here and get royally ticked off at you for doing it. You know, oh, where's the picture of the bedroom? She sent you the picture of the bed. May not have been in the house you wanted, but it was the house she was staying in at the time. I'm going to question her myself, and it's going to surprise the daylights out of her because I'm not even going to talk about the child. I'm going to talk about the procedures and what y'all been doing. All right, let's go ahead and bring her in. Good morning, Miss Barrows. See a PhD, MFT, LCSW.
I think she's... I know we attached her resume. As Exhibit 19.
Because I don't want to insult her.
She's not a PhD.
She's not a PhD, I know that.
Miss Barrows.
She has a Bachelor of Arts in English.
Miss Barrows, are you there?
Will you move? To see.
She may be working or in session with somebody.
No, she's said she would be available when she logged in. She has something later today that makes her unavailable. I'm wondering if she can.
Dad, you want to call her office and see if she can, please?
Yes.
I mean, when it rains here, I sometimes have problems with my blue jeans.
I'm gonna try to log off and log back.
Okay, we're going to log off and log back in. When this is over, I want you to contact her if the child stays there. I don't know. We haven't got there yet. Get to know her. See if you approve of her, because she's already bonded with Ethan, and changing may not be good in his good. You know, may not be to his good. Okay? Give her a chance, and let her hear your side of everything.
Hey Rachel, this is Joseph Moss. How are you? I'm doing okay. Are you available right now? Okay, I think they're trying to get you on the blue jeans.
Can she hear the judge? The judge was talking to her.
Can you hear the judge?
Miss Barrows, can you hear me? But not on the phone?
She can't hear you.
She can't hear us. Does she have her volume turned down?
She said she's been sitting there for an hour.
Okay.
So you're logged in and everything, you just can't
Yeah.
hear
I
the
can
judge?
see that she's.
Yeah, she's logged in. We just, you know, have her check the volume on her speakers.
She says she's looking at something that says private and family court.
So she can't see you either.
Maybe try turning on your video.
It is unmuted. Everything's unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay, everything on our end is unmuted. Her end is unmuted.
Oh,
Hey, I see somebody now.
But can you hear us?
Can you not hear me?
So she can't see or hear us.
She can't see or hear us. Okay. We turn it that way, y'all can have a better chance to see her.
Trying to work it out.
I'm gonna call IT.
Okay, we're going to call IT real quick and see if we can get them to figure out what's going on.
Alright, so they're gonna call IT real quick and try to figure out, so it should be just a few more moments.
Because we've signed off and signed back on.
Alright, thank you, Rachel. Alright, bye.
I hate taking up her time like this. But unfortunately, that happens with blue jeans and bad weather in Las Vegas.
So you're in? You're calling?
Hello, this is Corbin.
Would you like me to go off the record?
Yeah, let's go off record while we try to figure out what's going on here.